Yeah, welcome to Newsmax Nigeria Podcast. Where we discuss various issues, and today we're going to look at the 10th Assembly, talking about the National Assembly led by Senator Godswill Akpabio, and we have a great personality in our midst, and we'd like him to introduce himself. Can we get to meet you? Can you tell our viewers your name?
Good afternoon, our viewers all over the world. My name is Iyke Innocent Ofoke, fondly known as Noble Iyke. I'm a political scientist, a lecturer, and a political analyst.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
How you describe 10th Assembly led by Godswill Akpabio? Some said he has turned that house into a comedy session where they just come and they crack joke, and they will just go.
Well, when we look at the history of National Assembly in Nigeria, of course, the National Assembly represents the legislature, which is considered the second arm of the federal government of Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria practice what we call federal system of government. And in every federal system of government, there is always three arms of government, where you have the executive, headed by the president or the governor at the state level or the local government chairman. Then we talk about the legislature, that is headed by the Senate president and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Because Nigeria practice what we call bicameral legislature, where you have the Senate, known as the Red Chamber, the upper house, and the House of Representatives, known as the lower house, the Green Chamber. And in Nigeria today, we have about 109, in fact, we have 109 senators. Each senator from each of the 36 states, that is 3 senators, then 1 from Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Then we have about 360 House of Representative members that is selected based on how many constituencies that each state have. So because of time constraint, I wouldn't go into deep history of the National Assembly, the activities since the return to democratic dispensation in 1999. But I will just focus on the current administration. Before this current administration came, the Senate presidency of Ahmed Lawal, that was when we started hearing about rubber stamp mantra.
Yeah, because it wasn't like this during Saraki. We saw during Saraki's era where some bills were even rejected by him, where I think that was why he couldn't return back to the Red Chamber during Boris.
Of course,
regime.
Ordinarily, that is what it's supposed to be. Because each arm of government, there is what we call separation of power in federal system of government, where each arm of government is expected to work separately without the interference of the other organ. But today we see that even the current election, the election that brought in the current National Assembly members, I watched them live. All I could say was that it was just a kind of what we call a charade, where you come to the media to present to people arrangements that have been done behind closed doors. And most times, this is why it's as if the presidency is always interested in who becomes the Senate president or who becomes the House of Representatives speaker. Because if those people decide to work independently, as is supposed to be in an ideal society, what it means is that most of the obnoxious, what we call obnoxious bill, those bills that are contrary to the common will of the people, are going to be blocked. Just like you made mention of Saraki, when Saraki blocked the most prominent among them was the Ruga, the grazing bill, and all other ones. And that made it look as if there was the presidency was not in good term with him. But that was what legislation is supposed to be. You're supposed to work independently. We can't even go to talk about independence of the judiciary. I think there was a time I discussed that in one of my previous podcast discussions. So there are a whole lot of issues. And all these issues are general systemic issues that really need to be corrected. And further on this, I can say that this is even why members of the National Assembly seem not to be very active today. Yes, because when you work in a system where it's as if nobody is serious about checkmating your activities, where you are being told what to do and you are doing it to serve the interests of the executive, automatically you go there to become dormant. Let me take, for instance, today we talk about House of Representatives in Nigeria. Let's not talk about Senate, because it's as if the Senate, the issue of the Senate is already a flashpoint of the next election. Because everywhere you go, you know how it started in Ebonyi, that Saga want to go to the Senate. It was there everywhere. From there, Keneze was struggling. From there, today we know Professor Ben Odo striving to go there. You hear about even Ojimba struggling with Onyekachimu Ebonyi. So it's as if in Ebonyi now, what is on the lip of everybody, apart from the issue of governorship, is just the Senate. But beyond the Senate, people seem not to know that the House of Representative members are even the ones that are supposed to be held most accountable for rural development. How do I mean? You know, when you talk about the governor takes care of a larger coast of a whole state, which means that he has a whole lot of work to do before his developmental project will get to the rural areas. Okay, the senators, like most senators take care of, let's talk about Ebonyi North Senatorial Zone now. Ebonyi North Senatorial Zone comprises of 4 local governments. The Iyke local government, Abakaliki local government, Ebonyi local government, and even Ohuku local government, which is 4 local governments. But the House of Representatives, the constituency, is designed in such a way that it takes care of a smaller enclave. Abakaliki Iyke Federal Constituency, which is only 2 local governments. What does this imply? What it means is that the activities of the House of Representative members supposed to be deeply felt in the rural areas.
Now, let's take, for instance, the Abakaliki Iyke Federal Constituency. How are you going to rate Abakaliki Iyke? That is Emmanuel Ogro, right? I think he's the one representing Abakaliki Iyke Constituency.
Okay.
How are you going to rate his 3 years by being in office?
Based on my knowledge of political science, I can boldly say that the man have not performed. In fact, if I thought that he has performed, he has not performed up to expectation. And I believe my viewers there, I believe I'm speaking the mind of the majority. Because sometimes there is what we call gazetting in political science, where you throw issues, allow the public to react to that. Then from there, you know. There was a time I designed a questionnaire asking people, who are your representatives? Who are your So basically in Abakaliki Iyke, do you know that majority of them couldn't even, in fact, don't even know that there is an office called the Office of the House of Representative Members. They don't know why. Because their representatives have been very inactive. Abakaliki Iyke Federal Constituency, I always say, has been the most poorly represented.
But the man has been sharing laptops at a point, and so he donated 50,000 naira for security men to buy battery. Are you not aware?
That statement was a very laughable statement. I saw where somebody posted it. Of course, I heard that statement. Let's say, this security 50,000 battery touch. Imagine in this 21st century. Of course, you know, I have to come down to a language, because sometimes when I speak, people will begin to all these things you are speaking, it is sure. Is he even from there, or is he contracted to come and just say on behalf of others? It's where I know too well. Imagine in this 21st century, where even the presidency said that he has doubled the allocations that goes to the constituencies. And you are saying that kind of thing. In 21st century, where people are using sophisticated technology to fight insecurity, where people are talking about using drones, where people are using a lot of surveillance technologies to fight insecurity, and you are talking, imagine, that is a very disgusting. And this is not even the first time this thing is happening in Iyke. Before now, we know when Dr. Alex Nwofe was there, we can say, well, maybe that period, people were not politically conscious as it is today. Down to the period of Sylvester Baga, for roughly 12 years or thereabout that he was there, we have nothing to prove. I always tell people, if you say A House of Representative member have been working, especially the current one. Show me evidence. If you are able to convince me, I can boldly say, okay, yes, I will align myself with you. So that when you tell me 4+4, which is one of the major political slogan or whatsoever, I can see reasons why you are saying it and I can be able to follow it. But if there is none, I believe this is the time for us to get it right. Because one thing people don't know is that what poor governance does is that even you that is hailing that governance, even you that is applauding it, will still suffer the victim of it. Let's take, for instance, what happened when Buhari came to power. The Katsina people gave him almost the highest vote because Buhari was from Katsina. But trace the history of banditry in Nigeria. It started in Katsina. Read history, you will see it. Okay, now today we are talking about poor representation. That Iyke Abakaliki have never had good representation. To say this is what the House of Rep member is doing. Okay, let's compare. Can we compare him with what Chinedoga is doing for the poor people? Yes, everybody may not really like me now. It's not as if I'm a fan of Chinedoga and I've not been his close person. But at least I can say this is a man that have proven what representation is. When you go there, you can see rural infrastructure that was built by him. That is what is expected of our House of Rep members. You can see maybe employment and a whole lot of other things that are done at rural areas. These are what is expected of us. And today we don't have it. Why? Because sometimes they will just say party stakeholders have said, tell this person, oh yeah, go. And because party stakeholders have said, they tell the person to go, the person is going to go. But the problem is it the party stakeholders that the person is going there to serve? Those few people that have collected laptop, do they represent the interests of the greater majority? No. How do we measure good governance? We measure good governance, what we call legitimacy. Is when greater people are happy with your government. When greater people are talking good about your government. Go there now, just within yourself, after this section now. Go there. Give assessment. Let people talk about the man you have just mentioned that represent Iyke Abakaliki Federal Constituency. I once saw a video where they even said that when they had a political stakeholders meeting to select those during the primary election where they say they are going with consensus or whatever they call it. So they say that even that the position of the House of Representatives, that even the governor kicked against the man going back. Imagine where we are today here.
That's just an allegation.
It could be an allegation, but it could be, yes, that is, it was alleged. But even behind whatever you call allegation, there is an element of activities like that may have occurred.
Are you not too harsh on Abarike? Because maybe you have not benefited from him personally. Maybe he didn't give you laptop, or maybe he didn't give you scholarship and all that.
That is a clear case of misconception. I cannot. Why? I'm an Iyke person. I built myself to this stage. Having done even my PhD program, I've never received a dime from any politician to support. I've never received any scholarship. In fact, I didn't even study in Ebonyi. So it was just all my struggle all through. So no politician will come up and say, I made you. So why should at this stage I begin to compromise things because maybe I'm looking for a favor from a politician? No. I'm just an advocate of good governance because I believe that the greatest challenge our people are facing is poor political education. If our people are really enlightened, there are some politicians that have come in the picture that doesn't even need campaign to win election. Such as, let's take for instance, I know this man I fascinate so much. His personality interests me so much. The person of Dr. Emmanuel Eze. Immaculate. This is the man I've read his history. I saw how he built his tech company and have recorded success in business. And he's a man that have shown kindness. He's a man that have shown political will. A man that have all support even when he is not in government. This is the kind of person that I believe that if the person finds himself at the corridors of power, that he is even going to utilize the opportunity to do more. Not just to do more. He is equally going to attract a lot of federal government sponsored projects at the rural communities. For instance, now that he's into tech business, how many of our schools now in the rural area, we are talking about smart school. I know Enugu too well. Most of the schools are already equipped with technology. We are talking about AI today. But how many of our secondary schools, how many of our primary schools now, even have this old model television screen computer. Talk more of modern education technology. I believe this is the kind of thing that if that man, such man that like Immaculate, who have gone wide and have seen things and have gotten the experience even beyond Nigeria, and is very intentional about bringing such development home, he can use that opportunity to do that and develop our people.
Some people will ask you if Dr. Emmanuel was all that good, just like you are saying, why did he fail in 2023 general election?
Now, we know that Nigerian factor plays. We cannot necessarily say that the man lost the election. If you can tell yourself the truth from the way the election was conducted. Now, look at a situation where a man that contested under Labour Party, when P2B contested as the presidential flag bearer, do you know that in some states, Okada riders and even people who were doing many jobs say, because of P2B, let me go and try my luck. They contested the election and won. Now, look at the personality of a man, Dr. Emmanuel Immaculate. I believe he won that election, but Nigerian factor played on him, and maybe he was rigged out. Let me just put it that way. Of course, he alleged that he went to court, and after the whole processes, having been successful in his business, he quietly went back to his business. And that is what some of all these our career politicians find difficult doing, because they believe that once they lost election, they've lost it all. That is why they keep struggling, looking for a way to, instigate a lot of things. But in an ideal situation, all these things we are saying, it's not about those politicians. After all, Dr. Immaculate today is not suffering. Even if he failed to get to government, he cannot be poor. But he is even, in fact, sometimes people will just say, let's beg him, let him come out and contest. I was discussing with one prof today. I said, look at even a position, a state, a constituency where professors are coming from. People who are well to do intellectually in terms of willpower and all that. And look at the kind of representative we have. And this representative we have is what will represent the entire zone. That is the clear picture of what that entire zone is made of. Now, I was like telling the prof that if you come out tomorrow to say you are going to contest, having know your capacity, having know your willpower and everything, if you contest 10 times, I will vote for you 10 times. Because I know you are going there to work. So we have to look beyond all these political arrangements and all those things. People say 4x4 or 4+4. That 4+4, sometimes I will ask them, is it only for governorship or for every position? I say, if you are 4+4, if you are saying 4+4 for a candidate that I know is credible, I will support it. I don't have issues with that. But if you are saying 4+4 for a candidate that have not worked, let me tell you, the Constitution of Nigeria provided for 4 years, an option of 4 years to recontest. That second 4 years is a reward for a good job done at the first tenure. If you fail to do well at first tenure, then that is why there is always election.
And you are saying that Agbariki has not done well to go back for his second tenure.
As far as I'm concerned, he has not done. In fact, let this not just be as if I'm a kind of blackmail and defaming a person, but I'm just putting it even back to our viewers. If you can help me answer this question, has this man done well to deserve a second tenure? If he has not done well, then this is time to change him. If you think he has done well, can you tell us those things that he has done as someone who received constituency allocation to use to work for his people?
Well, this is the first time he's going there. And you know what it takes when you go there for the first time, they might not have that resources, because he compared him with Honorable Chinedoga. And as we all know, Chinedoga has been there for, I think, getting to 12 years. So you can't compare both of them. Are you not being too harsh on Agbarike, who is just going there for the first time?
Well, our major focus here is not just about a personality, a single personality like that of Agbarike. We are talking about that constituency, the concern for that constituency.
If you are to advise now, which areas do you think Agbarike is not getting it right? Now,
talking about Chinedoga, even when Chinedoga entered there for the first time, well, I'm not from that constituency, but at least from what we see, he started working when he got there. Now, let me take this for instance. Dr. Alex Oti, governor of Abia State, has not been there as governor. But he came in, he started working from day one. The same thing with Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State. They have not been there. So you don't need to be there for 100 years before you gather experience to work for your people. Those who have the willpower to work, even before they get in there, they already have the blueprints and they're already prepared for what they are going to do. So my advice for him is if this is a Western world, once somebody failed to perform up to expectation with the popular views and popular opinions and all that, the person will simply do what? Step down. If the person failed to step down, then the person have to go back to the drawing board, work on himself. He knows the areas. There are other legislators there who are doing well. He knows how to buckle up. That is just all I have to say. And we should know that this thing we are saying now is not revolved around the personality of Iyke, as we have said. It's not limited to just Abakaliki Iji federal constituency. There are still other constituencies. And I'm still concerned about my Iji people who are not under Abakaliki Iji constituency, like those in Ebonyi local government.
Let's talk briefly about Ebonyi, not a senatorial zone where Senator Iyke Ebonyi is there as a senator. How you rate his 3 years of being in office? Because we are seeing the wave of Chief Ojemba, and since the wave is now becoming more clear and all that. So how are you going to rate him? Are you placing him in the same category with Abakaliki Iji, or you think that Senator Iyke Ebonyi has performed extremely well and deserves the second tenure?
Okay, well, to be very honest, I cannot place Iyke Ebonyi in the same category with that of Abakaliki. Okay. And every other person that is a well-meaning Iji person can still know that. But the bottom line of this all is that all of them have not performed up to expectation. The reason is because sometimes I say structural problem. People already believe that as a politician, you are going there once you are voted in. You are interested in who? The stakeholders. Preparing yourself for the next election, settling them. But that is not what matters most. What matters most is the common masses. That you share 200 bikes or you share 100 laptops. Does that 100 people constitute even 0.5% population of your constituencies? No. What about those people who are dying every day as a result of bad road in the rural areas? What about those people who are languishing in illiteracy as a result of no access to good education? What about those people who are dying every day as a result of disease contacted from drinking of dirty waters and a whole lot of other things? So, I still say, even the case of Iyke Ebonyi and that of Ojemba, of course, I've not met any of them. And I can say, from what I see in the social media, that Ojemba is still one that drives people's support or people's love. Because it is unimaginable how this man came just a space of few weeks, within a space of months. He is now everywhere. I believe if that candidate is not credible, he wouldn't have gone that viral. There must be something in him that people are already talking about. But even as that, I can even say, if I'm to say who even deserve to go back among, I can even say that Iyke is also one of those who even deserve to still even go back. But this is left for the masses to decide. Okay. Because it's as if it's a kind of 50-50 something now. So it's left for the masses to decide. And they are going to decide that through their vote. So my final advice is that let's leave this issue of politics of wuru. Let's leave this issue of looking for a way to rake somebody out and rake somebody in. Let's just allow the will of the masses to prevail. And that is the only way we can be able to get good governance. There is nothing like good governance when the people are not happy. And with our collective efforts, we are going to get everything right.
You have 30 seconds. Can you tell us what you are seeing at Newsmax Nigeria here?
Oh, wow. I'm very much impressed with what I'm seeing here. Of course, you guys are really doing well. And just like I always encourage our youths, if you see whatever you can lay your hand doing in order to enhance the development of our country, do it with all diligence. And sometime, maybe in the days of your little beginning, it will look as if it's not paying. But as time goes on, it's going to pay. So the dream I'm already seeing here is that sometime, you can even grow even beyond most of the mainstream media. Because you guys are really doing well. So, but I want to still encourage you people to keep doing everything with all professional ethics that the guys in media, without any form of compromise. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but we can't conclude this program without you talking briefly about Governor Francis Ogbonnaya Onwa Ebonyi. How are you going to rate his 3 years?
Hi, brother. If you can, I will plead, let this be a discussion of another day.
Are you going to vote for him in 2026?
That is left for me to decide. The vote is mine.
But it's your brother. Or you are going towards the I choose side.
Well, the truth is that from the look of things, I can say, just like I always say, we need to look beyond where one is coming from. It's my brother, it's my brother. Okay, now if we are to go by it's my brother, it's my brother, why is it now that we have two brothers that are contesting from the same area and contesting the same position? So we need to look beyond it's my brother in governance. That is just the thing. Whoever that have performed. Sometimes this is my brother of a thing is even what makes some politicians to go and relax. So everybody should buckle up. If you do well, then people will vote you in. For our governor, yes, all of us, we voted him in with the zeal and enthusiasm that he is going to work and for us and do well. Well, from the track record today, well, I cannot say he has not done anything. But talking about performing up to expectation, when we look at other governors within the same Southeast, their performance and all that, I believe I can leave that for the public to rate. There is no way you can rate these people at the same level. So it is equally a challenge for him to equally buckle up and do more. And I still wish him success in his second tenure bid. I believe just like what happened in Enugu State when Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was there, he was just doing a lot of things and people were hailing him, clapping for him, especially those content creators he recruited around himself. But when he wanted to contest again, his people were the ones that voted him out. And that was when I said, Buruburu, that is the reality of what people hold at heart for you. Forget about those people that were hailing you. So sometimes I feel it's better you tell somebody the truth. Once you tell that person the truth, so that the person can be able to buckle up.
Which areas do you think Governor Nwifuru should buckle up?
So many areas of governance. There are so many areas of governance. When you talk about human capital development, we talked about those people that said he sent outside the country to go and study, oversee. But could that represent what is supposed to be in terms of intellectual development as compared to what other people? You remember when Governor Sam Egu was the governor of Ebonyi State. In fact, I can even tell you that was when even Iyke started having graduates in their families because school fees was cut down to an affordable extent. There were a lot of scholarship for even for Mbo people and all other people. So it cut across everywhere. And that record is still there up till today. Yes. And when we talk about infrastructure, we cannot say without mentioning somebody like Dave Omai. Even when you call a baby now without even... So sometimes when you begin to induce people to say things, it means there are areas you are not doing well because all those things are always there to speak for itself.
Are you not going to give Governor 100% when it comes to people's charters of need? Just like he came with that. That was his mission. That was his vision that is going to touch, impact lives. And Ebonyians are saying that we're seeing that he sent over 400 persons outside the country to study. We have seen him giving scholarship equally for local universities in Nigeria. Some are doing their masters, some are doing their PhD. Is that not what Ebonyians need currently? That is impacting lives. Sometimes policy governor even give out money even without mentioning it, or just believe everything should be about infrastructure, building flyovers and...
Okay, sorry. Thank you. You know, when we talk about, I can link this up to what we call the Millennium Development Goals. You know, sometimes when they talk about the Millennium Development Goals Vision 2020 came and gone. Then that vision was not achieved. Now they have moved it to Sustainable Development 2030 or thereabout. Now the point is, it's not about mentioning agenda. Good Luck then came with a 7-point agenda, or Yaradua rather. He inherited it through the Good Luck inherited it. But at the end of the day, how achievable were these agendas? So the People's Charter of Needs, how achievable have this thing been? Now those people that were sent abroad to study, what are the modes of selection? Is there anybody like around us now that can say they are beneficiary? Was there a beneficiary among the common men? That is another thing to look at. Because sometimes I look at some of all these things as sometimes a kind of political settlement. It could be maybe children of those big men. It could be a settlement. And I cannot, yes, of course, I've seen people who are there overseas saying, yes, that they're under the same scholarship. I can commend him for that. But there are still areas that we really need to get things right. And we should forget about this politics of let's share money to stakeholders, let's share money to individuals. The money you share, if you give me, let's say 10,000 or 20,000 naira today, 20,000 naira today highest can afford me 15 liters of fuel. If I am to fuel my car to go to work, maybe highest 2 days, 3 days, that money is gone. If I'm using it on bad road, pothole will still spoil my ball joint. It will still spoil my bottom plate and so many other things. And I will still spend more to fix it. So rather collect that money together, fix that road, give that people what they deserve, and forget about individual. When you make governance individualistic, that is what we call the policy of divide and rule. No, it doesn't work that way when we really mean governance. So, sometimes when we discuss issues beyond how people see it ordinarily. So if you are to ask me, if I am to fall back these questions to you now, have you been a direct beneficiary of this government? You may likely tell me no. But if you see a lot of developmental projects, like today, we are making use of those infrastructures that were built by Dave, and we are enjoying it today. At least when we come to Abakaliki, those days we were proud to say, Abakaliki, I'm an Abakaliki person. Hey, yeah. But today, with the way things are going, Abakaliki people have started hiding their faces again like they used to be. So we need to be made proud through governance. And that is just the only way. People are still there in the street. He talked about pulling people out of the street. But see hawkers. Today, you see our women being sent into prostitution. You see some of them into child trafficking, a lot of things. And the moment they speak, mostly Iyke. I must have to say it. So all these things are even the area, if this is the area the governor can even concentrate and do, forget about other areas. Capture one area and handle it effectively. Then we wouldn't have any reason to complain.
Oh, I've seen him release money for hawkers now.
Was the money utilized? Policy making is one thing. Policy implementation is another thing. And policy evaluation is another thing. You make policy, you release money. Who did you release that money to? The same, your political... I love what Peter Mba is doing. Do you know that in Enugu State now, Peter Mba supervises project. Each of the project, in fact, I heard that what he does that time is, if you come to him for contract, he will tell you, okay, if you are capable for this contract, if this contract is going to be 100 million, use your 50 million and start this project. By the time I come down and supervise that project and see that it is worth it, I will pay you 100 million. That is what it's supposed to be. Not when you release money. There have been an allegation, there have been uproar everywhere in the air that money was diverted. And from the look of things now, have anybody come up now in the media to say, I am one of those people that were lifted from the street by the government. I was hawking, but today government have mobilized me and government have empowered me, and today I am doing well in my business. Having built this studio to this level now, did the government support you? No. These are just the things. So I just want to say, good governance should be very realistic. It's not something we play over the gallery, leaving behind what happens in reality. By the time we continue to do like that, if we fail to tell ourselves the truth, we cannot be able to tell others the truth. And we must be able to tell the public the truth. And they handle governance very effectively. The moment you do that, you don't even need anybody to campaign for you before you win, because the track record will be there to speak for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you remind our viewers your name again?
My name is Iyke Ofoke, like I've said, popularly known as Nobo Iyke.
Dear viewers, we have been having various issues from National Assembly, Senate to House of Representatives, and equally we looked into the governance of Ebonyi under Right Honorable Francis Obonia Nwifuru Onwa, and I believe he has done marvelously well. But if you feel that you were mentioned and you have the right of reply, you can call us on the number on that phone on the screen. Please come here. We'll give you a room, a chance to equally debunk some of the things he said. Well, I know some people who might not be happy with what you said during this program. So you have the right. Call the number on the screen. We'll get you at Newsmax Nigeria Podcast, so you come and state your own side of the story. And his views, do not represent the view of Newsmax Nigeria. If you are watching on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere, please keep liking, keep sharing, keep viewing. This is Newsmax Nigeria, real news for real people. Thank you for watching.